Namaskar and Jai Jagannath, our viewers.
Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath. We have Rajesh with me as a co-host, and we live in Prestige Lakeside Habitat in Bangalore. It's a big, very big society with 100 acres of property, many apartments and villas. Um, Fortunately, there are about 100 to 200 Odia families are staying. We are one of them, and we got an opportunity to serve Lord Jagannath by starting our Rath Yatra last year, and this time we wanted to make it a little bigger and give more exposure through celebrities like Chandan Bhai, who's going to introduce himself, and most of us are working with the and we're really proud of our culture of Jagannath Rath Yatra, very deeply rooted and connected with the love of our Lord. With that, Rajesh, why don't you continue?
So, namaskar again, Chandan Bhai. Jai Jagannath. It's a privilege to really interact with you. So, let me take this honor to introduce yourself, and pardon me if it is not comprehensive enough. So, it's really an honor to be able to connect with you and talk about us, our Odia culture at large. So, that is an absolute privilege. And Chandan Bhai, as we all know, he's an accomplished actor in Hollywood, Oriya film industry, and he has got more than 20 films to his credit. He has won many awards and recognition. And the upcoming movie Kala Pahad, it's like everybody is keenly looking forward for it.
Yes.
So we would like to know more about it in our subsequent discussions for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
And Chandan Bhai also has got an incredible corporate aspect to his persona. He is an IT industry veteran with almost close to 20 years of experience, maybe. And he has led teams, he has led multidisciplinary projects from change management to IT related services and testing. And he has worked in some very premium Indian MNCs like Infosys and TCS. So, as such, Chandan Bhai does not need introduction to ODI people. He's a celebrity. But for the people in our society in Bangalore, if you could briefly introduce yourself, Chandan Bhai.
Yeah, thank you, Rajesh. And first of all, thank you so much for having this discussion. I think I was really looking forward to it, this discussion today. And you've mostly mentioned all the points already. But let me just quickly touch base that I started my career way back in December 2003 and in Infosys. And I was not into movies then. I happened to get into movies just by coincidence after a year and a half. And that's something which was never planned. I'd never thought about it. Just something which I feel is destiny. Or call it coincidence, call it destiny, whatever. But gradually happened. And thankfully, by the blessings of God and Lord Jagannath, I have been able to pursue both my professional life as well as my aspiration of being an actor so far for all these years. And I must thank all the Odia people, everyone watching this video for all the love and blessings that they have showered on me for all these years. I am really obliged, and I look forward to this discussion where we will mostly be focusing on the Odia culture, Odia heritage, and what we should do as Odias to take forward our legacy so that more and more people are aware of it. So, without any further delay, let's get started and not keep people waiting.
Sure. So we begin. We want to begin by understanding what is your childhood memory of Rath Yatra and how you are feel connected. You said you have a lot of blessing from Lord Jagannath. So we'd love to know how you are connected with him and what are your fond memories and how do you celebrate Rath Yatra?
So, let me start from my childhood. I would say that from my experience of childhood, I have somehow ended up being deeply spiritual. I will not call it just religious, I'll call it spiritual because uh, where I was born, there was a Shiv temple very nearby, and I was almost every day, my mom and dad used to take me out. I used to see how the worship being done, how the rituals are happening in that temple. Gradually, as we moved to different places, I always had this fascination for visiting different temples, big, small, large, doesn't matter. I just wanted to feel that environment, that ambience. It's just made me feel somehow different. I mean, I cannot explain that properly in words, but it was a feeling which was very special for me as a child. And of course, the Puri being the spiritual capital of Odisha, I would say, it was inevitable that at a very young age we all were exposed to
Mm.
the traditions of Puri and the traditions of Lord Jagannath. So whenever you used to visit, one of the fascinations was the height of the temple. See, as a kid, when you're looking into such a huge, gigantic structure, the things are got to ask yourself is how could somebody build such a kind of a thing thousands of years back? I mean,
Yeah.
those kind of thing. And nowadays, you would see the bana or the flag that is on the Nila Chakra being very small. But I remember clearly when we used to visit as a kid, they used to be almost 40, 50 feet at times during certain festivals. So those kind of overall atmosphere, that ambience where so many devotees at one go are worshipping, raising their hands in front of the great Lord. And as a kid, you sometimes felt overwhelmed that where have I actually come across?
Yeah.
But then as you grow up, you understand that it's the love of the people, it's their bhakti for the Lord, which actually makes everyone so emotional. So that is why they say, no, Lord Jagannath is somebody who is always going to make you emotional. There is watch him once, and if from your pure heart and mind, if you just think about him, you will get tears in your eyes. And those tears are not because you feel sad, that's because you're feeling happy. The pain within you is somehow relieved. So that's
Mm.
what I think is the earliest memory of what I can recall about Lord Shri Jagannath. But one thing was very sure, I was a very ardent comic fan. Okay, I was so much into Amar Chitra Katha, Raj comics, Diamond comics, everything. So all the I always used to study about Mahabharata, Ramayana, every all these books I used to study through comics only. I mean the visual part was very important for me. So even for Lord Jagannath, whenever my mom used to narrate those stories, or my dad or my grandparents, anybody used to narrate those stories, I used to create those visualizations in my mind as to how these things would be happening. So those things were very important, and that is the reason why probably I was able to think of the movie of a scale of Pahad in Odisha. Otherwise,
Mm.
probably I would never have even been in the wildest of my dreams thinking of a project like that. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so much of positive energy
Mm.
inside.
Yes.
ମାନେ ତମକୁ you don't have to be so learned कि
Mm.
ତମେ ସବୁ ଶ୍ଲୋକ ଜାଣିଛ, you know
Mm.
all hymns, only then you are
No,
able
no,
to
nothing,
connect.
Yes.
nothing.
You go with
Yeah,
just open heart
Mm.
and little bit of humility,
Mm.
and you can
all you
feel
need to
those
do is
prospects.
surrender yourself. Surrender yourself in front of the Lord emotionally, and you will feel as if all the challenges that you ever faced, all the trauma you ever faced has just evaporated. It's a
Mm.
True,
fact.
true.
You have to go there and experience it yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Like you said, Chandan, very deep that whatever you may have as a predicament or sadness in your heart, it will all be relieved
Yes.
by
Exactly.
taking darshan of Lord Jagannath. Very well said.
And connected to that, Mane Chandan bhai, and you really like to have your reflections there. Uh, you know, we as such, it is our part of job that we have to work outside Orissa.
Mm.
At the same time, we are proud Odia.
Mm.
And we have also seen Orissa transitioning from those super cyclone days
Mm.
to a state which is now recognized for law and order,
Mm.
for the way we prepare for any cyclone,
Yes.
the way we are hosting hockey
Yes.
world
Cup.
championship.
Yeah.
So we have seen those transition, and at the same time, we are also consciously aware that we have this responsibility in us
Mm.
to take as a torch bearer this Oriya culture and pass it on to our next generation.
Yes, I think that is
So
the most important part
Yeah. Correct.
how,
of
and
our
then
responsibility.
organizing such Rath Yatra festival in our society is one of those opportunities where we can secure that is our feeling. But it will be really nice to have your opinion there, Chandan.
Yeah, true. I mean, in the last 10 or 15 years, the way the governance has changed, it's reflective of what the country and the entire world thinks of us from now. Okay. So whether it's a state government, central government, everybody has done their bit. But it's now our responsibility to take this
Mm,
forward because there's so much of culture, so much of heritage, so much of
Yeah.
things which can discuss actually about our state with people who are not actually aware of it,
yeah.
that it's limitless, I would say.
Mm,
Because it's not just limited to probably Puri, Konark, or anything. Just look into
mm,
the number of temples Bhubaneswar has. Probably the entire state would not have of as the number of temples we have only in Bhubaneswar. So,
Exactly.
true.
but many would not be aware of it, right? But and the architecture is so unique in Odisha for all the temples. So I'm not sure how many of your society people have been to Konark, but
Mm.
Mm,
probably many would not know that the original Konark temple actually is said to be even taller than the Puri temple which exists now. You believe
mm,
that? 70
mm,
meters it was probably before
mm,
it
okay.
got broken down by the invaders, or some say it was from the Portuguese, some say it was Kala
Mm,
Pahad, some say it was the British.
Mm.
So whatever it may
mm,
be, but at least we have some unique architecture to boast of. And
Yeah.
now we are talking about so much about science, technology. Look into the temples, the kind of the whether the inscriptions or the various art forms that are
Art
present in
forms.
our temples are reflective of the kind of scientific advancement we had back then. And these temples were probably built more than 2000, 3000 years back if we go into history. Now they
mm,
are saying the Puri temple was created around 1100 AD, but it was a recreation. It was not built from scratch. Probably when it
Mm.
was
okay.
built from scratch would again be 1000 years back.
Yeah.
So we all need to make people aware of these facts. We are talking about, we in Hindu religion follow the lunar calendar, correct?
Mm,
But in Sun Temple, if you are aware, there is a chariot which has 7 horses, which represents the 7 days of the week, and there are 12 wheels, which again denote the 12 months of the solar calendar. So irrespective whether we followed the lunar calendar or not, we had an idea about how the sun patterns are and how the solar calendar is also being followed.
true. True.
And all the wheels on the Konark temple are also of the same size and diameters.
Yeah.
So
True.
there was a lot of advancement which people of today's age do not know about. So it's
Yes.
our responsibility that we not just limit this knowledge to ourselves, but we share it across to people from different communities to our younger generations. They should know
Yes.
about it. They should feel proud about it. They should feel that our ancestors were actually so much knowledgeable. They have had so much pride about their own culture. So these are the things which I actually want deeply from my heart for people to carry it forward.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chandan. A very deep reflection. We really love the way you covered the heritage that we have, and it is so important for us to not just experience but also share with the world, and most importantly with our next generation, who
Pass
will
on it. Pass it on to the
pass
next
it
generation.
on to you know the further generations.